Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and in this video I want to talk about modern magic. So, magic is a term that people use and they kind of have this magical idea about it. You know, it's like this non-scientific, right? It's almost like it's extra reality, right? It's like beyond real, right? But that's not actually what magic is. Magic is knowledge about how things work in the universe put into effect for some goal, basically. That's what magic is. And so any science is magic, right? It's about trying to discover what's true so that we can use what's true to our advantage. And that's what magic is. So I want to talk about an example of this, which is what they call an inducer. And this is a component in like electrical systems. But I'm going to explain to you how it works, and I'm going to explain to you how it's fucking magic. Okay? First I want to talk about how I just finished a biography of Nikola Tesla. And so it's kind of got me looking into this type of stuff and like, well, I want to go and understand how all of this stuff works. So I've been kind of looking at things, at night I'll say, today I'm going to watch like 10 videos on what a capacitor is, you know? And when you understand that, that's also magic. We're not going to talk about a capacitor now, but that's magic too. So anyways, everything that you do, right, you watching this video is magic, right? It is the result of knowledge about how the way the universe works put into effect for some goal or purpose. So anyways, Nikola Tesla, I think it's definitely worth looking into him. I think it's one of the biggest takeaways for me from that book is the book was called, I think, The Wizard, The Life and Times of Nikola Tesla, or something like that, right? So basically he changed the world totally and utterly, but his like crowning jewel invention was never actually finished. And it was not finished because of basically his own kind of naivety about business and contracts. So he basically made an agreement with JP Morgan for like $100,000. He would build him something that could communicate with ships out in the sea, and he said, yes, I can do that for you. And then he said, and JP Morgan was very explicit. He said, you can't come back to me and ask for any more, right? If you do that, it's a breach of contract. Well, that's what Tesla did, right? And he just thought, well, he'll understand how important this is and why. But ultimately, the reason was because Tesla was worried about some other guy, Marconi, who was using the stuff that Tesla came up with to create like a worldwide empire and claim as if he had invented all these things. So Tesla, it wasn't only that Tesla wanted to really finish this project and for it be good, but he was also just like, there was pride in it, right? And so pride and naivety of one of the most brilliant people that we know of in history is what kept us from having basically free energy for everyone on the planet and instantaneous communication for free, right? That's basically what happened. Anyways, so recommend looking into Tesla and the inducer. Okay, so you have a wire, right? And we can run current through a wire. And when you run current through a wire, you actually affect the field of reality, which is called the ether. And they call this, it creates a magnetic field. That's what they say in the scientific community, right? Now, if you wrap this, right, if it's a straight line, it's not very significant. It's just kind of like this field that goes like that, right? But if you wrap it this way, as it goes this way, right, then you actually create basically such a strong, intense stimulation of the basis of reality, the ether, that it creates this field, which is like, it becomes a magnet. If you run electricity through it, it becomes a magnet as long as the electricity is flowing through it. But also, if you take a magnet and you move it through the coil or you spin it inside the coil, then electricity flows in the coil. And that's actually where all of our electricity comes from, right? Even nuclear power, that nuclear power is just melting water, it's turning water into steam so that it turns a turbine, so that it turns a magnet inside of a coil, because the magnetic field causes electricity to flow in that wire, right? So this is like we're understanding something very, this is like at the very core of reality, right? There is this substance, this ether, which everything exists within. And there are also like these very concentrated points of energy which flow, which we call electricity. And these things are actually one and the same thing, right? The magnetic field, if it spins, it causes the electricity, or the electricity causes the magnetic field, right? These things they always come together, and you can start on one side or the other, but anyways, I think you get the picture. I mean, to me, this is like in the top echelon of magical things to know about, right? And really, it's where all of our technology comes from right now. So, you think, oh, magic's not a real thing. Well, what are you staring at right now? What are you listening to right now? Yeah, that's magic. So, anyways, I recommend looking into this electrical stuff. It's really, really interesting. Like the capacitor is another really interesting thing. I'm going to go into it. You can stop watching if you want, but I'm going to go into the capacitor. So the capacitor is, so we generally think that electrical, like negatives is pulled towards positive, which is true, but generally we think there needs to be a complete circuit in order for any energy to flow. But a capacitor, what it does is it puts the completion of the circuit so close together and puts this extremely thin layer of insulator, which it can't pass through. The electricity's still going to flow to that, and it's going to be sitting there like this, and you can get a huge amount of energy stored up in that thing, and then you can release it instantly, right? So it's like a battery, right? But it can be released instantly, right? And so isn't it crazy that we can... Anyways, I won't go into it too much, but I just think it's really cool, and if you want to be excited about it too, you can just go and search this stuff. Right now you have full access to all human knowledge. You could learn about the truth about the universe. And I'm planning to make a wizard staff, which is going to incorporate all these things, right? It's going to have a taser on it. It's going to have an EMP inducer, right? So if I get injected with nanobots, I can pass it over my body and fucking wipe them all out, right? And it's going to have a light, and it's also going to be able to, so there will be the coil in the thing, and it'll have battery cells in it, and either I can run electricity through the coil and create a magnet, which I can be able to pick up metal shit with, right? Or I'll be able to, pass like a magnet through it, maybe by just going like this with the pole, right? You'll get some amount of charge out of that. So anyways, lots of cool ideas for the wizard staff that I'm someday going to make, and it's all using magic. So anyways, lots of snow still. Just had some, just drank some anyway. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.